Hello, my name is Richard Badger. I'm a student at Alverno College in the Accelerated program. Today's topic or subject is to talk about 5 words in regards to what I want to gain from getting my degree at Alverno. And so I'm going to go through the 5 words and then also talk about where do I want to be in a year from now as it pertains to being a student within the Accelerated program. So I guess I'll start from where do I want to be uh, in a year from now. I guess where I want to be in a year from now is close to graduation, of course. I did come into the accelerated program with previous college experience, so I didn't necessarily have to start from scratch, fortunately. Um, but so from a year from now, what I would like to see myself at the final stages of completion to obtaining my undergraduate degree. Um, and I would hope that I would be in a possibly a new position professionally, taking advantage of the education that I'm getting and being able to parlay that into maybe something in middle management, senior management, something along that line. But then also hoping that my children and extended family are seeing the commitment, the discipline, and the dedication that I'm making to better myself and to improve myself. The irony of my situation in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is that I've been able to do quite well professionally, absent of a college degree, and so. Um, but now that I'm getting older, and now that I'm really looking at senior management, executive level type of positions, it has become more of a hindrance not having it versus just knowing how to do the things that I do and have learned over the years. So where I want to be in a year is definitely in a better situation, closer to graduation, of course. But like I said, hopefully in a different position professionally, in a management, a middle to senior management position professionally. So now as I go through the 5 words, um, I really took some time to think about which words I would choose and select because when it's all said and done, this was not a very easy assignment because there are so many words in our vocabulary that we can use, and there are words that we use every day, and then there are words that we use in incorrect context. And so, as I kind of pondered through, I kind of had a list of probably close to 20 words and then kind of dwindled down that selection process. So this is kind of what I ended up with. And so the 5 words, the first word I'm going to talk about is grow. And I think I kind of talked about that within where do I want to be within a year. Grow is significant to me. I think the one thing about humanity and one's personal self is that I think we should always be growing and we should be always looking for the opportunity to grow, whether that's in traditional formal education or just in life's education that will teach you. But growth is one of those things that oftentimes people can be afraid of. Some people are excited about. Myself, I'm always excited to learn. I'm always excited to grow. I always feel like I need to grow in something, and I kind of live my life even as a young child to now that you should be growing or learning something new every day. And so I still kind of operate off that mantra. It was kind of instilled in me at an early age, and that mantra kind of still stands with me and dwells within me today. So grow is very significant, simply because if you're not growing, that means that you're standing still or you're stagnant or you're dead. And I definitely do not consider myself to be dead or stagnant. I see a lot of opportunity out there. I see a lot of opportunity that I'm supposed to be involved with because maybe I'm the one that's supposed to move that opportunity forward. And so the only way I can see that happening is if I continue to grow. And so taking the initiative to kind of step forward and realize my deficiency and allow myself the opportunity to grow along with my support system, giving me the encouragement and the nurturance that I need to continue to grow is a phenomenal thing. So grow is my first word. Secondly, I selected change. Change, along with growth. Anytime something grows, it will change. Whether it's a lot or a little, there will come change. And so the change that I'm referring to within myself is a positive change. So the more I grow, the more confidence I get back, the more I find an increased value in myself. And so the change comes out because now become a brighter light than I was previously. And so it becomes a change in my behavior, in my perspective, and how I analyze things. The growth, the teaching, the learning, all those things are going to kind of change how I move and operate and even think and begin to see some things differently. And so change, especially in the climate, when we talk about a climate today, there's a lot of systems that need change. And so change can sometimes be painful. It can hurt. It can be depressing. It can be oppressive. It can be all these things. But change, in order for something to grow, some things will need to change. And so my growth is really, I think it's going to stem from the changes that are going to come as a result of my enrollment within the accelerated program. Next, I have empower. And empower is one of those words that I think is sometimes overused, especially in today's climate. But when I say empower, what I mean by empower, and there's kind of a symmetry to the words that I've chosen. When I say empower, to be able to empower somebody, you basically are giving them the free reign, almost the permission to be who they are, who they want to be, and who they've been called to be, who you've been destined to be. And so through my growth, through my change, I because of the growth and the change has now allowed me to kind of see things in a different perspective, walk in a different purpose, be a different light. Now I'm able to empower people, empower others around me to be able to do the same thing. And so whether it's their sexuality, whether it's their professional self, whether it's whatever it may be, their health, whatever it may be, it's always easier to be able to take that first step into a new journey when you have that support system around you. And so being empowered to be able to do so, or having the ability to empower somebody to do those things, is a phenomenal attribute that you can have. And I think it's probably one of God's greatest underspoken gifts that we have to our fellow man. And so being able to empower somebody so that they can be the light that they've been called to be is a significant thing. And I think with the education, with the experiences, with all the networking that I've been able to do as a way of through Alverno, I think empowering others to be who they have truly been destined to be is a great gift. Um, legacy, legacy as a man, as a person, but more specifically as a man, legacy is vitally important to me. My children, and one day my children's children, you know, those things are important to me. And so the legacy I want to leave to my children is that you live life to the fullest. I was, in my early professional years, I was mentored by, or one of my directors had told me that um, as a community organizer, it is our job to make sure that we talk to everybody, we reach everybody. And it's not about reaching 20,000 people, but it's about reaching those 5 or 6 people who have the most significant impact in the community. And so I never forgot that. But then also what he said was that um, no matter where you are, who you are, our hours do not operate from 9 to 5. And so we're always working. And so I always want my children to know that no matter what you do in life, or no matter what your calling is in life, people should always leave your presence better than when they first entered it. And that's the legacy I want to leave behind. I want my children to know that no matter how long I live, no matter what, everything I've done was to build a bridge for them to be able to cross when it came their time to confront that bridge. And so I want them to know that I leave to them my unconditional love. I leave to them my unconditional support. And I leave to them, and I've taken on many of the scars on their behalf so that they won't have to go through some of those storms themselves. Now, life is always going to present you with obstacles and challenges that you're going to have to kind of fight your way through. I understand that, but it shouldn't be that they should have to struggle through everything. And so, my legacy, the legacy that I want to live, is that I tried. I try to do right by myself. I try to do right by my family, by my friends, by my community. I've served my country. I've served my community. I served my family. I served my wife and children. And so love is my legacy. And I hope that when that time comes, that my children will realize that that is probably the greatest gift that I can give them, is that I love them um, with all of my heart and all my understanding and being. And then lastly, um, the word I selected is lead. There are two types of leaders in the world. You have leaders for the good, and you have leaders for the bad. And regardless of what type of leader one is, they all will have similar attributes, which means that they can encourage and influence and motivate people to do things and step beyond their own apprehensions to press forward for the mission or the objective of that leader. My personal leadership style is that I believe as a leader, you should be cultivating the next leaders, um, and be willing to pass the baton. And there should always be a succession plan in place. And so I chose lead because, unfortunately, in this day and age right now, with all the issues that we have circulating our community, our country, and our world, there tends to be this sense or this feeling of lack of leadership. And so without leaders, in the Bible is clear, without vision, the people shall perish. And that vision, I would substitute vision with leadership. I think without leadership, the people will perish. And so to me, what leadership actually means is that it's not about my objectives. It's about understanding that we each have been ordained to fulfill a life's task. And I think a leader such as a Dr. Martin Luther King or Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, um, a leader is willing to sacrifice their own personal desires in order to fulfill their purpose in life. And they're willing to sacrifice everything. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison to fight against the apartheid in South Africa. How many people today would do that? And so I think with me, leadership is critical because I think sometimes leaders are thrust into a position. They don't choose to be in that position. They are thrust. They're called to lead. And I think oftentimes that's where some people find themselves. So for me, leadership is key, is critical. But in order to be appropriate, I cannot put myself in a leadership role. I can only prepare myself in the event I'm called to lead. And so my 5 words again are grow, change, empower, legacy, and lead. These words were, again, scaled down from a list of probably close to 20 words. And like I said, they all are kind of somewhat connected. Um, but I think this is a good list. I think this list represents myself very well. I think it represents my ideology, my thought process, and how I move and think. And so I hope that you can appreciate um, these 5 words and use them as you will. Hopefully, something that you heard here today will have you look at each of these 5 words in a different light, and that you can take that light and share it with others, because that is something that we are supposed to do. So again, I'm Richard Badger. I am a student at Alverno College in the Accelerated Program. I am providing this subject today on the 5 words and where I want to be a year from now. I hope you appreciate it. Have a great day.